Hello, hello, good people. I'm Chris, and today I want to slow us down on purpose. I want to slow us down on purpose. We've talked about survival, we've talked about peace, we've talked about margin. And before we move into what I call life changing money, I want to explain how and why I build this channel the way I do. So, why I don't rush information. I've learned something about growth in life, faith, and finances. You don't grow because you hear something once. I believe that you grow because you hear because understanding that blah blah blah. Slow that down, rewind it. I believe you grow because understanding stacks, right? I believe I said something yesterday about building brick upon brick. In life, I believe you can stack. You can stack your understanding. Just like in investing, they talk about stacking a position. Or anyway, we ain't going down. I don't teach in shortcuts. You learn things in shortcuts. When it happens to you in real life, and there is no shortcut, then you can't maneuver or figure your way out of your situation because all you know is the so-called shortcut. So learn it, and then once you learn things, then you can build your own shortcut, right? If you learn it, it can't be taken from you, right? Even when the shortcut breaks, you've learned it, it's there. So I don't teach shortcuts and I don't skip steps. I build the same way I live, block by block. That's what works for me. And it's proven. It's proven that it works. It doesn't just work for me, it just works, right? How I personally build. Here's how I operate. I take in what I see, what I hear, and what I experience. I keep what's wise, what's working for me, right? I discard what doesn't align, right? If it doesn't align, if it doesn't work, if it's not helping me go upward, I don't need anything to help me sink down, right? So that's the way I work. And I reuse what strengthens me. That applies to my faith, work, marriage, and money, right? Growth isn't linear, it's layered, in my opinion, right? Life is not perfect and it doesn't happen a certain way just because, But when you learn things, when you learn processes and what works for you, you can't be stopped. The sky's the limit, in my opinion, right? Why we don't jump straight to life-changing money. A lot of people want to talk about opportunity before readiness. But opportunity without margin becomes pressure, in my opinion. And pressure creates mistakes. That's why we stopped where we did. Margin isn't exciting, but it's protective. Margin to me is exciting. It's exciting to me when I have room to breathe, right? Anyway, so peace isn't flashy, but it's foundational. Yes, it is foundational. To me, it's flashy. To me, it's flashy because it makes life pop for me when I'm at peace. So that's just me. So let's talk about what comes next. The next series we'll talk about is life-changing money. No hype, no shortcuts, no promises. We'll talk about what actually changes mentally, emotionally, and structurally when money grows, right? Been talking about growth a lot, right? But we don't rush into that. We prepare for it. All right. I'm not trying to be like everybody else. I'm just trying to be the best me I can be. I try to put myself, as I always say, in the best possible position to succeed, right? So that's what I'm doing here. Permission, permission, something I noted for myself. And let me say this clearly. If you ever feel like you need to go back and rewatch an earlier video, if you're just picking up on me, you might want to go back and go over some things, right? Because I build block upon block, right? So if you haven't watched something else and you take off running with something that I share today or tomorrow or in the future, and you haven't been walking with me, you're subject to be thrown off, right? So that's just my opinion. So it's not a setback when you do that. You're building yourself. You're stacking your understanding. That's how understanding deepens, right? Okay. I don't expect you to catch everything at once. I didn't. I'm building something you can grow into if you allow yourself to do so. We're not pausing because we're unsure. We're pausing because we're intentional. Foundation first. I believe I said something earlier about this week about Michael Jordan and his fundamentals, right? Or any athlete when they say that person's fundamental is sound, right? So in life, what do we start with? We start with learning our ABCs and our 1, 2, 3s. If you don't get the ABCs down, if you don't get the 1, 2, 3s down, you're not going to pass the grade, right? There's no point sending you on to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade if you haven't learned the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. You won't understand any numbers if you don't understand the foundation of the 1, 2, 3s, right? If you don't learn your ABCs, you're not going to be able to sound out words in the 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and higher up, right? So you have to learn your fundamentals. You got to learn your basics. And I'm just trying to make sure the audience I'm working with, we're getting our foundation down and we're building from there, right? So if anything I've said today has helped you understand the process, please hit that like, subscribe, and share it with someone building patiently. More is coming at the right time. Walk in wisdom, my friend.
Okay, I found this on the web for with someone